Well. It's my first time going live with the show. We're about to go on the air in about a minute. Uh, let's see how this works. This is my first time going live during the Love Doctor show, 12:30 a.m. WBOK. So let's see how this works. I've never tried this. I see other people doing it. So they had the little bracket here set up so that I could do it. So I'm like, okay, let's do this thing. Let's try going live with the Love Doctor show. Yeah, so here it is. It's about to start. Oh, this is funny. I'm looking at myself on radio. Did I hope yeah. Yeah, I look all right. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, Jazz, I'm on Facebook Live, man. Yeah, this is all right. Yeah, see, I think this is the last commercial. And the Love Doctor show starts in a minute. Today the topic is definitions for raising kids. I think that's really appropriate for this time. There's Linda Lewis. Hey, Linda. How you doing, man? Yeah. Oh, I get to see this is neat. I didn't know you get to see who's watching. All right. Here we go. So you don't get to hear the stuff that's going on the radio. So you get, yeah. I want Sunday kind of love. That's the music that the show starts to. Yes, we'd love to last. Welcome to the Love Doctor show. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Lenore showed up too. This is interesting. And we're about to get this thing going. Hope you enjoyed the show today. This is a landmark for me. Never did this before. We can see here. Oh, okay. Well, I'll see your comments. Now I'll be able to use those on the show. Here we go. All right. Hey, Jazz? Yes, indeed. Oh, I'm on? Check the mic. Hello? Test. 1, 2. 1. Hello? Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. Had a little technical error there. How y'all doing? Welcome to the Love Doctor show on WBOK 12:30 a.m. or online at WBOK1230am.com, and now on Facebook at Lloyd Dennis on my timeline. This is interesting. So I got some people listening to me on TV, on radio, and on Facebook. That's nice. You're tuned into the Thursday evening masterclass on the art, science, and power of love. So I want you to show some love to your people. Take a couple of minutes, send out that group text. Let folks know that class is about to start, and you don't want to miss this. You know, if you have people that you care about in your life, but this week, particularly people who have children and trying to figure out what to do and how to deal with kids, you might want to do them a favor and let them know what we're about to get into here. My name is Lloyd Dennis. They call me the Love Doctor. And I want your life to improve starting today. And like I said, the show today is the definition for raising kids. And some of us need help with that. As I do every week, right now I want to reach out to any brother in the listening audience who is sick and tired of the senseless violence and stuff that's going on with young people in our community. And you can do something about it. You may be the one. You may be the one that will help some kid realize that they can be something. If they look up at you and see you and what you've made of your life, you may be the one. And, this thing, I think on the air is starting to pay off. We were contacted by one of our listeners last week who has joined the work, and he's in training with our mentor team at Lafayette Academy. He attended his first session last week, and I got to tell you, he's excited. and he's glad to be working with a group of great guys who are making a difference in the future of the next generation's fathers. Because that's what we're all about. Actually, that's what this show is all about. If we learn how to get together, stay together, and raise our kids, it will be all good. All good. Hey, look at my nap. All right. Facebook is a trip. So once again, you might be the next Silverback Society superhero, brother. You might be the one. And we're going to persist in making this plea because we understand that water will wear away stone if it keeps running. If it keeps running. And so now I'm going to get into the meat of the show, which every week is on one of my columns. Now you got to remember, I wrote this column 26 years ago when I was writing for Dallas News Weekly. So, and I don't change them. On purpose, I don't change them. I don't really look. I want to read it fresh, like it came out of a 40-year-old love doctor's pen or keyboard. And I enjoy going back and reading these, hopefully as much as you enjoy them. All right. So yes, indeed. We're getting comments on Facebook. That's funny. Definitions for raising kids. I've got to change my voice a little bit because I used to do it like this. Definitions for raising kids. Before we get into the meat of the column, readers should understand that the point of view I'm about to express is mine. The people who own this newspaper may or may not be able to appreciate the brilliance presented herein. Oh, you was full of yourself. Those of you who are lucky enough to have read my first column know that I advise my readers not to accept advice from anyone who has not succeeded in the area in which they offer advice. Therefore, so you might properly perceive the wisdom I present this week, I offer credentials. I'm the proud father of 3 children. At the time, the 19-year-old male artist and college student who creates the Love Doctor cartoons. He's now 42 with his own child. A 17-year-old female who attends a prestigious university on full academic scholarship. She's now 40, and she has 2 kids, one of which just started Notre Dame. And a 5-year-old male who reads as well as most 4th graders. That 5-year-old male is now 30, and he is in the IT business, and he's quite a beast in that business. So anyway, those recently I borrowed myself from my business for 3 years to share my knowledge with young people as a high school teacher. In my first school year teaching, I was honored as one of the top 10 teachers at the school. So Love Doctor knows children. So that was 26 years ago. Man. So yeah, Love Doctor still knows children because we've been working with them ever since. The first observation I would like to make is that the world might be better off if some folks just wouldn't have children. Some people don't have the guts or skill it takes to turn something that only eats, sleeps, cries, and dirties diapers into a strong, intelligent, productive, law-abiding adult human being. If you think of babies as sweet little things that coo and smile and hold on to your thumbs with their tiny hands, let's look at the fact. First, babies only smell sweet because we bathe them, change their diapers, wash the sour milk from their clothes, and put baby powder on them. Second, they wouldn't coo if you or someone else hadn't spent many hours in the face speaking baby talk to them. Third, the same cute little hands they use to grab your thumb will soon be used to spill things, tear things, pull down tablecloths and draperies, and poke things into electrical outlets or any other place they may get injured. If you want children because they are cute, let me help you solve your insanity. Next time you think of a cute, sweet little baby, close your eyes and visualize an orange-haired teenager with raggedy, faded jeans, a key hanging from his earring, and his hands out chewing gum, asking you for the keys to the family car so the posse can go to the 2 Live Crew concert. If that doesn't cure you, I don't know what will. Yeah, Love Doctor is a trip. Actually, I have to admit that my own wife, Boo, is one of those people who melt at the sight of a baby and the smell of Johnson's baby powder. We have a box in our master bathroom. She became addicted to the stuff when the 5-year-old was born. And that's true. We still have some Johnson's baby powder. And don't get the idea that the love doctor doesn't like kids. I love them. But every time I see a child, I see the challenges of raising that child. I enjoy children because I enjoy challenges. Raising children is a tug of war. The child will have to seek its own way, freedom, and you must influence what it wants to do by your example and what you expose it to, and gradually give freedom and responsibility as you measure the child's ability to handle each. Since you here with since there are maybe arguments from time to time during the process, I provide you here with some working definitions which will better equip you for debates with your own personal crumb snatchers. Who controls what is the basis for a classic debate. It's my room, so why do I have to keep it clean? So, solution. The love doctor says define yours, the child's, as things that you have paid for. Mine, the parents, everything else. Children may attempt to become very demanding, demand rights as food, clothing, shelter, safety, medical care, and school. Children may attempt to become very demanding. So what you need to do is define their rights only as food, clothing, shelter, safety, medical care, and school. Privileges either are earned or allowed because I, the parent, am a wonderful human being and I like you today. Privileges may be withdrawn by parent at any time for any reason. Child abuse. If I harm you more than what you're about to do to yourself. Wow, that's deep, man. Freedom of expression. Everyone has the right to pout and suck their teeth as long as they pout and suck their teeth while they're doing what they were told to do. Adulthood, when you've grown up. The point in life when a person pays the rent, buys the groceries, pays the utility bills, car insurance, and phone bill. Now, the next definition is intended to help parents help their children. Toys. And this is really appropriate around this time of year. Toys. Toys are playthings used by children to develop skills, attitudes, aptitudes, and desires for adulthood. Note, most children will not be turtles when they grow up. Back when I wrote this, the Ninja Turtle thing was going crazy. Made people sick. Kids just wanted ninja. Kids are not going to grow up and be turtles. Children can be the source of your greatest joy or your deepest pain. For those of you who may fear the challenge of raising children, consider a technique used by those who train elephants for the circus. When an elephant is very young, a 3-foot-long stake is driven into the ground to keep the baby elephant from wandering. The baby elephant may tug and tug, but it learns that it cannot move that 3-foot stick. When the elephant grows older and stronger, all that you need to keep it from wandering is the same 3-foot stick. Consider this. That very same elephant can root up a medium-sized tree. Imagine if it hadn't been trained to obey that 3-foot stick. And that's the end of the column. So I don't know, I don't know how people feel about that, but those definitions are meant to help us kind of define things in the lives of us, between us and our children, because children will go and be some wild stuff. Hey, Ruben, I see you. Children will become as demanding as you let them. And some of us overindulge. We forget that you're responsible for helping your children become independent, freestanding human beings. They're not there for you to ego trip on because you can buy stuff from. They're not there for you to pander and cuddle to. You need to get these kids ready for the world. And while it's around this Christmas season and we're buying things for children, before you buy something, a toy for a kid, ask yourself, what can the child learn playing with this toy, or what will they practice playing with this toy that has value to them as an adult? As an adult. And how much imagination will it stimulate in the child? One of the things that I've learned, we learned over the years is sometime on Christmas morning, the kids played with the boxes more than they played with the toys. Played more with the boxes than they played with the toys because the boxes gave them more of an opportunity to use their own imagination. Don't buy toys that do everything. Don't buy toys that where the kids literally have nothing to do except watch it. That's one of the favorite toys, and I still recommend this highly, is Lego. Lego is something that where they get to build their own concept of whatever, but it requires them to do something. The toys that really bother me are the ones that all the kid really does is sit down and watch. So when you're buying toys for kids, remember that. Ask the question, because the idea is not just for the kid to enjoy. Play is nature's way of letting kids practice stuff and letting kids try themselves at certain things and develop. Somebody asked, who's Two Live Crew? 26 years ago, Two Live Crew was like the hot, out front kind of edge of the rap movement. So anyway, and it wasn't a concert that lots of people wanted their kids to go to. So anyway, so my point about kids is we just have this really big opportunity and this really big responsibility to get these kids to do everything we can to get these kids to do well in life, to become the kind of people that we want them to be. And I think right about now we need to take a little break, pay some bills, and we'll be back and have a little more conversation about some stuff we've been up to. And the music that you're listening to right now, this month's local love notes is Sweeter Than a Summer Breeze by Leroy Jones. It's the title track for his Sweeter Than a Summer Breeze CD, and it's available online at iTunes. And if you have music you want featured locally, a local artist, go to lovedrnola.com. Well, actually email me at love@lovedrnola.com, and we'll see about it. So let's see. I'm talking to the just live people now. So I see Don Juan Fontaine showed up. I made a comment, and I don't know how many other people are watching. It says right now. Oh, okay, I see the number. Raising kids is a challenge. Hey, darling, how you doing? We want to do a good job at. The better job you do at raising your kids, the happier your life is going to be, period. Because they're either going to be your deepest joy or your worst pain. Anybody in Facebook land have a question while I'm on commercial break here? Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah, Don, yeah. You're about to learn that. Take some notes from home, Don. Take some notes. Hey, Sandronika, you've done a great job with yours, baby. You're doing a great job with yours. And look at you, Darlene. Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's a challenge, but you know what? It's a challenge, but when you are intentional about what you do and how you deal with your kids, and you avoid some of the temptations. And I think the biggest temptation is to kind of spoil them a little bit. And by spoil, I don't mean spoil them with love. Children should be spoiled with love. I mean with material things. And then they start thinking that they're just supposed to get what they want. And that's not a good one. Hey, what's going on? Oh, okay, Miss Dixon. Good to see you. I'm looking because I got to look through the bottom of my glasses to read that. So this is interesting. So when you're on Facebook Live, actually you get to, during the commercials, I get to interact with the Facebook Live people. And that's interesting in itself. So it's important in our community. And when the radio show comes back on, I'm going to talk about a couple of other things where it's important to the whole community, the work that we do raising our own children. Because, Deanna, I can't say your nickname in public, huh? Young lady grew up next door to us, turned out pretty good herself. Her parents, and we raised kids together. And so we used to have meetings. You're right. You're right, Darlene says, be their mentor, not their friends. And she is absolutely right. Absolutely right. If you are always concerned about whether your kids are feeling good about you on any particular day, you're going to have a problem. We're going to have a particular problem. Yeah, you're right, Miss Dixon. The children these days feel entitled because we gave them too much. And that's kind of what I'm saying to everybody. So, this is a lot of work, man, and having the Facebook thing on. And, all right, Linda. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Anybody else have any comments that I can pass on the audience? Because Darlene reminded me of something. I'm open to that. I'm kind of happy that we have this Facebook Outlook because what we found out, people do not like to call into the show because you know what, Darlene, I feel you. She said my biggest accomplishment in life is that I'm a great mother. And I think the reality of life is that is the most important work that we do in our lives. There is no more important work. Wow. Normally during the breaks, I would just sit here and get me a swallow of water. But I'm on this Facebook thing now. And you guys are working it, brother. I got to talk during the break now. And here we go. We're getting ready to come back into the show. So I got to talk to my radio people now, y'all. So just bear with me. This is funny. This work, though. This is work. Yes, indeed. So there's a couple of things a couple of hints, things I want to suggest to folks about dealing with their kids, and I think they're helpful, but I'm gonna try and save those till we come back to the air. I don't want to do them and then you do them again. Then it'll get boring, huh? Yes, indeed. All right. There we go. I love to last past Saturday night. Oh, I want to know. Yes, indeed. Lord, of His first sight. I'm on a Sunday kind of love. Love that song. Yeah. Love is on the yeah. It's even fine. That's what the show is all about. Love that's on the square. Hey, good to see you, Jackie, on Facebook Live at Laura Dennis. So, yeah, so here, listen, raising children is the most important work most of us will do. I mean, even if you're a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, if you have children, that is your most important work. And I'm always excited when I see people doing that. Focused on human beings may be the only species on Earth that forget it. I mean, every other animal species, every other critter on Earth understands that the next generation is everything. Is everything. And so, like Jackie says, a 20-year-old knows everything. I'm gonna tell you something. This thing about kids thinking that they know that they're smarter than us, it's not their fault. It was planted in their brains, and it was planted on purpose. I mean, it's about 25, 20, about the same time I was writing this column, I was doing some photography for a marketing convention, right? Different advertising and marketing companies were having this convention. And so I'm moving around the office and stuff, and I ran across a memo, and this is going to make your blood chill. The memo said that the most important marketing opportunity in America, will come from separating adolescents from the influence of their parents. I read that. It was in black and white. And then, if you notice, television programming started flipping. So right now, you parents and who are trying to raise children are fighting not just the natural tendencies of children, but a tendency that's actually been planted in their mind by the television program that they're watching. So when I grew up, we used to watch stuff like they actually had a show, Father Knows Best, right? My Three Sons, Leave It to Beaver, all of those situation comedies, and they were all the same. Lots of the humor in these shows came from the kids getting together and coming up with some really crazy idea that was funny, and then watching them try to execute the idea that was funny. Watching crazy stuff happen as a result, and that was funny. And then at the end, it was like real life, and the adults would come along and fix it. What they have these kids watching now is Homer Simpson. So if you check, I don't know how many of you have actually checked out Homer Simpson, but if you check out the show, the absolute smartest person in the show is the youngest, and the absolute dumbest is the dad. Family Guy is the same exact pattern. The smartest one is the child, the youngest child, and I think in Family Guys it's the dog is actually the smartest, and the dumbest is the dad, the adult. If you switch over into Disney programming, the programming for kids, you'll notice that if you watch those shows, the children are smart and cool and witty, and the adults are doofus. The adults are idiots. This didn't happen by accident. This was done on purpose to make sure that young people did not respect and did not pay a lot of attention to what what their elders said, to the values that their elders were expressing, because that's how they get to sell kids $300 sneakers and $70 T-shirts, $500 pocketbooks. Getting little girls to think that they're supposed to wear these red sole shoes to their prom. And so, the fact that we as adults actually object to it, the marketing people took care of that, because they have planted a seed in these children's mind where these children think that they can understand more about what's going on than adults. And it was done on purpose. So you are not only fighting the natural tendency of kids to want independence. That's kids get when adult hormones start flowing in their brains, puberty, when they start, like the old people used to say, start smelling themselves. It's natural for them to be a little rebellious and stuff, but the media that they've been exposed to has convinced them that you don't know nothing. So the fact that your 20-year-old daughter thinks that you don't know nothing is not because she's a bad person, and it's not really natural. It's been planted in her brain by almost everything she watches on television. All of the programming that's designed for kids. I mean, not the good stuff like Sesame Street and stuff like that. That still holds up the value of elders, but the popular programming is, I mean, washing it, what they call it, brainwashing these children against their own interest, because as I tell young people all the time, if you have an elder in your life that you respect, you should never be confused or frustrated because all you have to do is ask them. And so our kids are having difficulty a lot of times because they don't come to us and ask us. You know, we would be able to tell them in lots of the situations, lots of times in terms of the relationships that they have with other people, we would be able to give them good advice. But it's been, wow. Jackie says, wow. Yep, it's not an accident. One of the things about when you live in what they call a free enterprise, and you have a First Amendment, people can put out some foolishness, and they can, whatever they can convince people to buy, they'll buy. And so they got our kids thinking that at a tender age, they're supposed to have the finer things in life. And those of us who know, those of us who know, June Cleavers, we sure do. Those of us who know understand that this should be their grind time. This should be where their shoulders to the wheel. And that's one of the other things I want to say to you about these kids. This is not, kids going through some effort. One of the things that bothers me is when parents complain about homework. When they said the homework is too hard or it takes too much time. That's foolishness. That's real foolishness. Because this is not the time in a person's life where they're supposed to enjoy a lot. I mean, the purpose of play is so that kids can learn something useful. I mean, childhood is not supposed to be la-la land. Childhood is supposed to be the time in a person's life where they get prepared for adulthood. I know lots of people who grew up in these homes where they had these really strict parents. I was a little strict at my house. I wasn't as bad. But they're really strict parents who, made them do chores, made them, do this, didn't let them watch television, and those children, by comparison with the kids around them who had a lot of freedom, just did what they felt like, those children may have looked like they were not enjoying their childhood. But I tell you what, 201, those children are enjoying fantastic lives as adults because they did so much prep work as children. We need to be pushing these children. We need to be turning off television sets. We need to be turning off video games. Those things should become privileges that you earn because you did the grind. You did the grind. Your children need to have chores and responsibilities around the house. And we don't understand that when we don't do those things, we are crippling our children. We are crippling their children. I have never met a young person. Who was ruined because their parents were too strict. Never. I mean, I'm not talking about abusive parents. I'm not talking about parents that beat children and stuff like that, but just parents that had very structured lives and expected very structured lives for their children. I've not met one whose life was ruined, but I've met a whole lot of children whose lives were ruined because the adults let them do what they want. And ultimately, I always use food as an example. If you let children eat what they want, they're going to eat candy and sweet stuff, and their teeth's going to rot, and they're going to develop all kinds of diseases. All kinds of diseases. So what, just like we have to make sure that children eat good, nutritious food, we have to make sure that they do stuff, get practice for greatness. Man, this week. So now that I've got a deputy director, a really great young man, Greg Rattler Jr. in the Silverback Society is my deputy director. I had the time again to get back and do some hands-on mentoring myself. So I've joined the team over at Lafayette. And we were in session yesterday with these kids. And we start talking about their greatness. Tell your children, that's the other thing. Your children believe whatever you say about them. Whatever you say about them. So, even if you don't believe them, tell them they wonder how smart they are. Tell them start practicing their greatness. That's what we were talking to these kids yesterday. We had some little brothers who kind of slumped in their seats a little bit. So lots of people get an attitude when they see kids do that. But I don't get no attitude because I bet you if you walk in his house, that's the way the dudes sit around. That's the way the grown folk do, So these kids were kind of slumped down in their chair, and somebody went to and y'all need to sit up. And so I said, let me turn this around. I said, so young man, there'll be a point in your life where you're working for somebody or you're working in an organization. Whereas if you sit like that, it's going to cause them to think of you poorly. I say, I know you don't mean anything, and I don't think that that's a bad thing that you're doing. But what I want to suggest to you is that you start practicing your greatness. Practice your greatness. I see, we told these boys, we see greatness in this room. You need to tell your children that. I see greatness. I see and I expect greatness. Because greatness is in these children. We just have to get it out. And that's our job as adults, to nurture these young people. And nurture does not mean all the time hug and cater to. Nurture sometimes means, listen, get up out of bed. You got chores to do on Saturday morning. I remember my mama. My sweet Lorraine. That's my mama. My mama would get us up on Saturday morning, and we didn't get to go outside. We didn't get to go play until we got our stuff done. We didn't get to watch the cartoons on Saturday morning until we got our stuff done. Mama didn't play. And if there was some place that you were expecting to go or something that you wanted to do, you better get it. You better get it right. And your grades better be right. Your grades better be right. We live very conditional lives. Very conditional lives. We had to do certain things a certain way. And there were some things you just better not do. You just better never do, because you would not like the outcome. So, when raising kids, your kids don't have rights other than what I told them about. They deserve to be safe, well-fed, their medical care, security. They need to feel loved, but they don't deserve other stuff. All of the stuff that the other kids have. They don't deserve that. They don't deserve it. And so you don't want your kids to feel a need for that. Talk about their greatness. Talk about what they've learned and how smart they are. Talk about the things that they're going to accomplish in life. Talk about the joy and happiness they're going to have when as adults they can have life like they want it. Because one of the things I would discuss with young people all the time is the reason we are doing this stuff that we're doing is because we want you to have it like you want it. Lots of times the kids think we're in some kind of battle. I was actually working with a group. This was at St. Paul, with Fathers and Son Club, and got them together. And basically, I told we were talking to the young people with the fathers sitting right there. I said, so I'm gonna make a statement right now, and because I think we need to be on the same page. And so what I said, so young man, we want the same thing that you want. We want you to be able to enjoy your life. We want you to have it like you want it. And I turned to the fathers and I said, fellas, am I telling the truth? And unanimously, the father said, yeah, yeah. I said, so you see, we in the same game. We have the same goals. It's just that we've been on the planet long enough to understand some things that you don't understand yet. And so we're trying to guide you and protect you from mistakes that may stop you from being able to have life like you want. Doesn't that sound like we on the same page? And it was really, at the end of the meeting, it was really nice because the young man really started thinking about the fact that, you know, their parents really are doing things to try and help them have the kind of life that they want to have. That they want to have. Somebody said their father was a drill sergeant, huh? Yes, indeed. I knew some of them, but guess what? Their kids may not have parted as much, but their kids turned out with greatness. With greatness. Turned out being people who were able to live life like they wanted. And so Jazz is looking at me, and I think he's right. It's time for us to take another break. And we'll be right back with more of the Love Doctor Show. And I'm going to tell you some of the stuff that we've been doing. All right? Thank you. We'll be right back. Yes, indeed. Get me talking. I almost forgot I had Facebook on here. Yes, indeed. So how y'all doing out there? Y'all can tell I love doing this show. So all I'm doing is trying to be like a village elder. My wife and I managed to figure out how to have a really nice life and relationship, and we've raised some kids, and we're just trying to help other people accomplish the same thing. So, you know, that's for what it's worth. We've managed to get that done, and we just want to share it with the good book says don't hide your light under a basket. And so we're trying to just let whatever light we have in our life be a light for other people. Look at, hey, Miss Perkins, what's going on, God? So wow, so this is interesting. I don't what this is. No, I'm like I told you. So if I'm on Facebook Live, hell, I can't. Good Linda, look, man, baby, do what you gotta do. We miss you too. Yes, indeed. So I can't even go to the bathroom if I'm on Facebook Live. I got to stay during the commercials and stuff. This is funny. It's fun. It's fun. So when we come back to the show, I'm going to share some of the fun we've been doing. Oh, no, I want to talk about something else. We've noticed in the Silverback Society, we've noticed something about the kids this year that's a little different from the last several years. And we think it has something to do with Katrina. Excuse me. We think it has something to do with Katrina. Let me get a swallow of water here. That's some of that alkaline, oxygenated, ionized water that I'm drinking right now. It sponsors, big sponsors here at the show, so we get their water, and I was having some. So you know what the thing is yeah, all right, teachers can't leave the classroom. I've been told I got to get prepared to teach for the whole hour. And trust me, it's not hard, especially on a topic like today about understanding what we have to do for children. Because children are the future. Children are the future. I like to say that the words children and future are interchangeable other than plurality. So if you want a great future, what you mean is you want great children. You know, And that's the simple truth. The best way to make our city better is for us to double down on our generation. Now, I believe if we double down, I believe if we double down on our efforts with our children and try and just make sure that the 85, 90% of all of the children find their way to a productive adulthood. In other words, make sure don't let them drop through the cracks. Don't let them count themselves out. Let's make sure that we get every kid to a point where they can be contributors to society, and our city will be better. Our city will be much better. So Geneva says it does, my friend, talking about the Katrina syndrome, and I'm going to get back to that. So we're about to go back live on the radio. Here we go. Sunday, kind of love. Yes, indeed. Wow! I love that song. Saturday night. More than love at first sight. Yeah. I want a Sunday kind. Isn't that what everybody wants? Isn't that what everybody wants? Yes, indeed. I love that's on the square. I love that's on the square. That's what all of us want, and that's what the children need. I define love, and I define love the universal love as when you consider the impact of what you do on the lives of the person or the people that you say you love. That is the action of loving. Is considering those people in basically all your decisions. That means that's loving. That's the act of loving. And before we went to the break, and actually I had one of our Facebook, I guess viewers or whatever you do on Facebook, kind of chime in on the piece that I left out. We're talking about the Katrina and the impact on kids. One of the things that we've noticed in the Silverback Society this year is that across the board, we're in like 17 schools, and across the board, the kids this year are less, let's say, they buy in quicker. They buy in quicker. It's like they're more trusting of our effort than some of the kids over the last 3 or 4 years. It's been the last couple of years, we have really met some challenges at some of our sites with kids who, now by the time we finish with them, they all come around. But we had some kids that it really took a while. It really took a while for them to feel the love and to understand that the things that we were teaching and showing them were in their own best interest. But they did come around. But we've noticed that this year, the young people are much more receptive, and we believe that Katrina had something to do with it. So when we did the math, the kids that we got this year were either 2 years old or younger, because Katrina was what 10 years ago. So we're dealing like 12-year-old kids now. So those kids were like 2 years old, maybe 3 years old, and really not at an age in life where their critical ability to analyze and understand what's going on around them kicked in. So these kids were probably just kind of, as long as they were like, with their mama and got fed, these kids were probably not as traumatized as the kids who were 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. And those are the kids that we've been dealing with over the last several years. And so we really think that we've and what I got to say is even when the rough got going, the guys, these volunteers, we hung in there with these kids. We never gave up on them. And like I said, all the kids all pretty much eventually come around, but some of them it took a while. Some of them it really was until we showed them some love and took them to the chase. That kept our promises. That they really kind of said, okay, all right, this is the real deal. This is for real. This is for me. This is for me. Because what happened after Katrina is that we did not, as a city, do anything for these kids. We didn't have trauma counseling. We literally didn't do anything relative to their mental health. And so I've been talking with my guys. One of the things that we're grateful for is that maybe for some of these boys, we might have been the only, caring, unconditional embrace and acceptance of who they were, how they were. Because that's one of the things we do in the Silverback Society. We accept you, who you are, and how you are, and we just try to teach you some things and help show you a path to becoming a person who's going to get more out of life. And so, but we really think that has something to do with it. Another one of the guys who's a psychologist, he also thinks that's that one of the other things that's happening is that the kids we have now are kids who's probably their only experience of a president up until this year was a black president. So they may have a more positive aspect about what their opportunities are. But I still think that thank you, Jackie. Jackie says gives the guys credit for their unwavering commitment and consistency. That's kind of what they do. The guys do in the Silverback Society. And anyway, today's show is basically about don't let your kids push you around. Make sure that they understand that you're not an adult until you can pay your own bills. And make sure you let them know that the things that they think that they're supposed to have are not their rights, but that their privileges, and those privileges are to be earned. And so that's kind of what I wanted to accomplish here, and share those couple other things with you. And we have the little out and about part that we try and do is so last Friday, I'm shifting gears. I'll do that. I'm all over. Last Friday, Boo and I were at the Real Love shows at Pontchartrain Landing, and this was the first show that included a performance by Sharon Martin. In addition to the Vegas style Motown show, that Real Love has been selling out. They've sold out like the last 5 shows, last 3 months. But I tell you what, Sharon Martin's addition, it gave the show like a little change of pace, like right in the middle, and it brought some female vocal energy that wasn't there. And yes, so you had a little Gladys Knight and the Pip stuff happen. I would have really been disappointed if that didn't happen. And it was really a great show. And then Sunday evening, we checked out WBOK's own Brother Shaq and Mama Faya's Love Jones event, featuring this young violinist T. Ray and his Dreams to Reality band. And the event was at the. We enjoyed that. We enjoyed watching, like, this is the next generation of musicians come together, and they got in a performance venue. It was good. We really enjoyed ourselves. T. Ray is he's one of those violinists that have come into R&B and jazz and just changed the people's concept of what a violin is and what its possibilities are. And I always enjoy them, always enjoy them. But the event was at the 14 Parishes Jamaican restaurant in Central City. And I had never heard it. And that was like, that's upsetting to me if I don't know all the black owned venues, right? And so this was a new one for me. So it's a little black owned restaurant, 14 Parishes, Jamaican restaurant in the city. And you can get your stuff hot. You can get yourself spicy there now, man. You get the real spice. You don't play. You have to make sure, don't look, if you go for the three pepper stuff, you better be ready for the three pepper stuff. So I tried to stick with one pepper, and did me fine. And tomorrow I'm having the honor of co-emceeing the ENOAC, the East New Orleans Neighborhood Association Corporation holiday extravaganza with Wanda Ruzan. I get to share the stage and the MC duty with the Queen, Wanda Ruzan. And the set's going to feature the New Soul Incorporated band, Teresa B. If you've never heard Teresa B, now you can't buy tickets to this. It's sold out, they said. But I end up hanging out with a bunch of sold out stuff. You know why? Because if I'm on the set, there ain't no bull musicians on the set. I only hang out where you got some really great musicians. And so Teresa B is one of these really great singers. Michael Ward. Michael Ward is probably the jazz violinist that most of us in our generation know, who kind of brought that into the city. James Andrews, of course, and then the New Birth Brass Band. So I'm kind of excited about doing that little community service organization out there that's trying to do great things for that community. And so that's about it. We're going to get on out of here, and there we go. You've been listening to the Love Doctor Show, WBOK 1230. Next week, the topic is going to be, I had it right here. The topic is going to be doing it right, the rewards of excellence. The rewards of excellence. Well, tune in, make sure you people tune in. And if you see me out in the street, holler at your bar. See ya. Ooh, all right, Facebook. That was a lot of work. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this. I might try it next week, too.